Hi, thank you for joining me today. My name is Brandon Johnson, and I'm going to be talking about my new app, Pluto Pay. Pluto Pay is a money transferring app in the same vein as Venmo, Cash App, those typical household apps. But we did put a little bit of a spin on it. Now, the point of this app was to target the demographic that was uncomfortable with those other apps, didn't feel that they were safe, or simply the fact that these users were a little less tech savvy and certain features and elements to these apps kind of bogged them down, made them a little overcomplicated, and didn't make them very approachable for these users. So the initial idea was, of course, to create something that was as safe as going to the bank. So with that, uh, kind of what kickstarted Pluto Pay was this PIN element. Now, what would happen is the user would make a payment, but then they would have to send a PIN to the receiver. That receiver would then have to enter this into the app on their end, and then the payment would be confirmed. This extra step we were hoping would kind of alleviate some of the stress of newer online money transferring and help those users feel comfortable. So, with that, obviously, we had to go ahead and look into our competitors, see what they were doing, what was working, what wasn't working, and then we did interview some of their own users. What we did find was that those instant pay features, where it was just super quick and focused on speed, actually made a lot of these people uncomfortable. They wanted a little bit more security with that because we are talking about money here. So we did go into our first round of user testing there, which was able to help us get to the place where we can make a user flow to kind of go through how exactly our system would be set up. But we did want to make sure that we always kept it simple. So as you can see here, we've got our user flow, not a lot of features there. That is by design. We really wanted it to be kind of bare bones. This is to request and pay, not too much else other than transferring that money right back to your bank. Um, so once that was all planned out, we were able to get to our first iteration here. As you can see, we just got some black and white frames here. Pretty simple stuff. We have our original dashboard there, which really only had those pay and request buttons there. That would go into the payment, and then we did have that step for the payment verification. You did not have a choice at this point. You had to go with the verification. I will get to that a little bit later. So once we had this iteration up, went ahead and researched that with some users. And we got a pretty positive response. I was pretty happy with everything. People found that the verification made them more comfortable. They found that it was very easy to just shoot that person a text instead of just hoping that they received it or hoping the right person got it. So that research really helped push us into our final iteration here. And as you can see, we did add a couple things. Um, Now, of course, we cleaned up the design, made it a little more fancy, and then added a few features just because we didn't want to ostracize any of those more tech savvy users. So we get to go ahead and add a quick pay function. We added the transfer balance button right there on the dashboard. As you can see, we put in the search page here for to directly pay in requests from past transactions and things like that. And then I did want to talk today about the style of Pluto Pay a little bit. Now, with all of these features, with how professional we wanted it to seem, less trendy and everything like that, or I should say, not as much of a focus on being trendy. My main thing was I wanted it to feel like you were going to your bank. So with that, we did choose some muted professional colors here. We've got some light greens, some mint, some grays, some very light blues. Um, the typography was very basic. I did want it to be broken up so not everything looked the same, but familiar fonts like Saria for the numeric values. Of course, we have Russo 1 for our logo here, which makes it really bold, but then very basic text fonts for our dialogues and for user and account information. Our icons were very basic. Obviously, a big thing about less tech savvy users and that demographic is, if they don't know what they're clicking on, they don't know what they're doing, they're going to feel uncomfortable right away. So using these very simple features like normal hamburger menu button, normal home button, everything like that, making sure that they know what they're doing. That was the most important thing because this is their money they're dealing with, and that's really important there. So in conclusion, with all of that, this is a new chapter. There is a lot of money handling that is all online these days. And with that, there's a huge demographic of people who just don't feel comfortable yet, making that switch. So hopefully Pluto Pay will be able to do that by mitigating those features that they just won't use, by not making overcomplicated screens, and then adding a couple extra security features just to make sure that they do feel okay and safe that Pluto Pay is handling their money and sending it where it needs to go. Um, and that is really it. I do thank you for your time. This was a great project. I was very happy to be designing it, and we'll see where it goes. Thank you so much.